Hello, this is Willis George Culpepper. We'll show what's next. On this afternoon, we're going to be talking to a guest. I have a guest, to a very interesting gentleman that's going to be coming by and talking with us. He's going to be talking with us about the country of Africa, the continent of Africa. There's a lot to be said. Africa is a very large continent, and there's an awful lot of information to be shared, but we only have a limited amount of time, so I hope you bear with us, and we're going to get to it as soon as possible. Right now, what we'll do is we'll ask Mr. Amadou Lee, the Executive Director of Coming to America from Africa.
We've got a live audience. That's right.
He's from Senegal, West Africa. He's been here for about 25 years. Mr. Lee, how are you doing?
Thank you. How are you? Welcome.
Fine.
And thank you for having me, by the way.
Now, tell me, Mr. Lee, tell me about the show Coming to America.
Well, you are renaming it. It called Coming to Africa. Coming to Africa was done by my favorite actor, African American, who happened to be my favorite actor, that Eddie Murphy. He's the one who really started that movie, but we're going to talk today about Coming to Africa.
That's where I get that Coming to America.
Yes,
that was
Actually, Coming to Africa is a travel agency, travel and tourism, that the objective of Coming to Africa is really to expose the African beauty, the unseen beauty of Africa, for the Western civilized, so-called civilized European and African Americans.
Most Americans, when they go to Africa, they generally think of going to Africa to go on safaris.
Yes.
They think of going to Africa and basically going to look at the ruins and these types of things.
Yes.
What other things are you going to have to show Americans that going to Africa?
Beauty, mountains, beaches, food, clothing, jewelry, the culture. The best part of secret that is not seen in the West is the beaches. That is endless water that is parallel to Hawaii or to Asian beaches. That our objective is really to show you the side of that part of Africa that is not seen yet.
Yeah, because most people, like when you speak of Africa in America, most people start thinking of jungles and animals and these types of things.
That's right.
How are you going to lure the mind away from that?
By doing that is to show you how many five-star hotels that exist in Africa, how many exotic food restaurant that is endless quality of food, that is the best renowned chef that can feed you with very good budgeting. The art that is already in Africa that is unseen, the art part is just very important for us to really work on finding the way to bring that market into American system, to make every African American to visit Africa through our service.
Now, a good deal of Americans, I think, when you travel through like one of the world's largest airports in America is in Atlanta, and they do have African art as you enter into the gateways of Atlanta. But one of the things that you mentioned to me that I found strikingly different and odd, really, you never hear anyone mentioning about the cuisine in Africa. No one speak of the food.
Yes. I think with all fairness, the Caribbean has taken away of our quality food because they all name it Caribbean food, but really it's all originally from Africa because the spice and the meat, the fish, the way they cook those plates is really...
Our West Indian food
is awesome. But they all come from Africa. They all come from Africa, to be honest with you. And if you can go to, example, Senegal. I give, because I'm from Senegal. I was born and raised in Senegal. Senegal has 3 different distinguished dish that's worldly renowned. Chebujin, which is a jasmine rice and a fish. Could be tilapia, could be all kind of style. There is yassa, lamb meat, with onions and curries and all the other ingredients come with it. And the third one is the mafe, with peanut butter, okra, curry, rice mixed together. All 3 are wonderful.
we all relate those to Indian, and yeah, you said the Caribbean dishes.
Yes.
We relate that. Matter of fact, what you had mentioned would be like the highlights of dishes. We generally find those in the Caribbean.
Yes. But you know, the Caribbean come from Africa. If you know well the history, most of the Caribbean people, they're original from Africa. They come to the Caribbean with their own twisted how you can say this, they redid their dish in their own style. And with that style, something is named Caribbean islands, but most of them, their original DNA is all African countries.
Oh, okay. Now, and the show Coming to Africa is going to be more involved in the dishes and in the beauty of Africa. Now, I've heard of a city in Africa outside of Johannesburg, Sun City. Could you tell me about that?
I don't have the opportunity to visit Sun City, but I did visit Johannesburg and Cape Town and Durban. I can tell you the beauty of South Africa is unparalleled to all. It's a wonderful country. I didn't have a chance to spend a little bit more time, but those 3 cities that I have visited, there's something about South Africa is striking and very similarity to the quality of the Western world, but with mixed of African beauty. Because you can go 10 miles away from the city, you can see live animals.
Right.
And you can go to any restaurant, you can get a healthy, not fast food, but healthy food within a minute. You can speak to those people that you see the way they carry themselves with pride, because South Africa was ruled by white men for a while, and with that they work together as a black and white government. That's just wonderful.
That's what I was about to come to the next question. You mentioned South Africa at one time was ruled by British, the Caucasian British.
Holland and British next year.
Now we have in America, we have like a contest, a pageant, so if you will, and usually we have the Miss America pageant that goes to the Miss World.
Sun City.
And the South African entry into that pageant, always a white. I've not seen
not always white though, because there's some of them.
Color.
No. There is some Miss Universe. It's very rare to see a Miss Universe white. If you look at closely, most of them are different country from different. Maybe you need to rephrase your question. I don't understand.
What I'm saying is, I have seen the entry from South Africa, which is African. You think of Africa, the continent of Africa, as being black, of color.
Not at all.
The entry from South Africa is always white.
Yeah.
The
percentage
into the Miss Universe pageant.
We have a couple of questions from the audience.
We haven't got to that point of the show.
Give us 1 second. Let us finish this. Yeah.
Anyway, as I was saying, now the contestant from the Africa,
we're taking it over.
Representing that region of Africa, South Africa, is always white. I was wondering why was that.
You see, South Africa is one of the very few country in Africa that is very mixed now. Since Mandela came in power, he really did a good job. He did not just get rid of all the white. He just mixed them up. Yes, he get the key position. I'm not representing South Africa in any means, but just based on my personal observation, I think they're really working wonderfully together. And I think for the reason of Miss Universe to be hosted in South Africa, is just a kind of networking, because the owner of Sun City owns Atlantic City. And all of those is just kind of who you know, where they're going to put it. The next could be in Lagos. It could be in Dakar. Who knows?
This is true. Sure. Now,
we have a question online, I think.
As I was slowly interrupted a few minutes ago.
Yes.
I'm not going to say rudely interrupted. Now, we have questions from the audience.
Yes, the first question is, what makes your beaches better than the USA beaches?
What make African beaches better than the US beaches? We don't have waste nuclear on our water. Waste nuclear waste on our water. Our water is virgin. We don't have a nuclear waste that is coming onto our shore. Our beaches are very neutral, and that's one of the reasons. And the other reason why our beaches are better, our beaches is there's two things happen to our beaches. Only in Africa you can see it. You can just find a stone of diamond on the ground in Zambia, and you can find a stone of diamond in Florida. That's
you get.
The question is, what can you show me that the other travel agencies has not shown the world yet?
In Africa.
In Africa?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a very interesting culture. Because if you see the 95% of African visitors in Africa, they all come from Europe. It's a very few American tourists visit Africa. And we want to change that. We want to make sure that all African American, Caucasian, Asian, Spanish from US, when they visit Africa, they want to see something different. They want to see the culture, the difference of our beauty, of our people, the food, the dance, the music that is not in US. You have to go. There is a certain authenticity that exists in Africa. Only in Africa can be found. We're not saying anything happened in Las Vegas, but you can things can happen in Africa, and you can take it with you back home and share it with your people.
I have a question.
Yes.
There's been so much publicity about Africa, the continent, as well as certain countries in Africa, like Nairobi and countries of this sort, Nigeria and these types of things. If the American public has gotten a mindset of the customary advertising has been of those areas, how do you intend to change it?
Perspective.
We
plan as Coming to Africa Getting Shape. We plan to do a similar show to Travel Channel, where you can say live from Africa. We're going to show you the best part of our land, the forest, the nomadic people, the bushmen, the birds of the city, the style of our food, the gastronomic style, the unseen river that flow into from the Nile all the way down to South Africa.
The Niger River.
Yes, the Niger River, and the sunset of the most interesting city in Africa that you can see. I'll give an example. There is a city in West Africa called the Conakry. That's the capital of Guinea. On the water, on the bank of the city, it's it's awesome. And you have to see it to believe it. And it's not only Conakry have that kind of view. Senegal have the same view. Gambia have the same view. Liberia have the same view, because all of them have certain mountains that flow into the water.
They have the same characteristics.
Same characteristics. Beautiful.
Same characteristics, rather. Yeah. Okay. Now, do you have any more questions from the audience?
Yes, we do. The next question speaks to how coming to Africa.
Water. Yes, go ahead. Water. Yes.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Mr. Lee, talk about how coming to Africa came about, being a person from West Africa, and how you received information from the consulates, and just the administration of coming to Africa. Are you only going to be a travel agency, or are you going to have a newsletter? What other resources? Do you have a website? Talk about some of the things that people who want to know more about coming to Africa, how can we learn more about
We are working on a very complete website. We have not put the site out yet, because we do not want to put the site live without having enough information. The Coming to Africa site going to be not only Coming to Africa is a corporation, by the way. It's not only limited to travel and tourism. It's going to be news, entertainment, and culture. Information about every particular country. Each country will have a dedicated page to the most important information about that particular country. On top of that, we will have each hotels that is worthy enough to be put on our site, because we're not going to put any hotel on our site. If we put a hotel on our site, that means that hotel has a pass our scrutiny style of selecting. The hotels going to be the top of the line based on that country. The availability of those hotels would be online, live, you can book it, and the information into any particular country also will be the artist, the most star known into that country will be featured into our site. That will be weekly. We will have breaking news into that particular country that will be streamlined into their site, their page on our site. We will have also a person of the week who did the most good in that particular country for free of charge. We will have also something that very similar to magazine that you can subscribe online for a very minimal fee. 10% of that fee will be going back to the poorest of the poor into that particular country, because everybody have poor children. America is one of the most powerful countries in the world, but they still have poor kids. So we want to use that 10% of that subscription magazine back to those particular children who need help. And more and more and more.
Okay. Okay. We'll ask some more questions, ascertain some more questions from the audience.
So at this time, there are no further questions from the viewers. But I guess since we're almost 17 minutes into the show, you guys want to maybe just give a closing and ask Mr. Lee if you'd like to say something in his native tongue to his viewers that may see this at another time. Say something nice.
Well, my native tongue is a Halplar. I am a Halplar, and I will doubt if any Halplar will watch me, but I will say this anyway. But actually, it is important because there is the Halplar is being spoken in Senegal, Gambia, Mauritania, Guinea, Mali, Niger, that I know of. A little bit, I think, a little bit north of Nigeria. It's just very similar dialects, but they all Halplar. My message to them is similar to everyone who's trying to start up a business. I'm going to say it in English first, and I'm going to try to see if I can translate it accurately. Coming to Africa is not only for Amadou Tijan Lee, it's for all Fulani men who's out there. Because I have something to tell, but it's not time yet. And the reason why it's not time yet, I want to set this site up right. I was a nomad from a remote country, remote village of Senegal, grown up there, did my things, come to the city, did my things, and left for the West. And I have done good. If someone know me very well, they can tell, yes, indeed, he have done good. But at this point in time, we're still on what we call in French, en chantier. We are under construction. We are building a movement, a site, a cultural exchange, a cultural site, a cultural place where digitally you can tap into any name you want into African diaspora that will be pulled up and being found.
We actually have another visitor in the studio, and she has a question personally for you. So I'm going to invite her to come into the. Come on now.
I am not done, my coach. Now, I just want to briefly, I want to thank everybody for giving me the. I want to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity, and I think I would love to come back when I'm ready, because right now it is just a startup. And Jimu Halande mon on bandira be sihla mon on jaram on kedima ko min kala on gasani to kon ma wonko er goddum sol debi on jaram.
When I show this to my African friends, they would understand exactly what you just said.
Maybe not.
Anyway, we will now conclude this.
We have a guest.
this segment, we're going to break.
We're going to break and we'll be right back.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do this.
What do you think?
And I can see what we've done.
You're conscious of being on camera.
I am?
Yes, you can feel it.
We're still live.
You just walked off set.
Come on, Miss Miriam, we're waiting on you. And introducing.
I have the privilege to introduce you guys Miriam Colbert, a sister of mine from South Africa. And Miriam is a very interesting character. She's a beautiful person. We have been cross paths several times. At this time, we would like to invite her to give a little bit comment about coming to Africa and what she think coming to Africa go from here. Miriam, welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting me to the show. I really look forward working with coming to Africa. I'm a health naturopathic doctor, and with all the travel agency, I want to bring something different to Africa as a whole. We always hear about natural herbs. We always hear about natural healing, and everything started in Africa.
That's right.
So with coming to Africa, I'd like to put that segment where we have an African healing temples.
That's a good idea. That's a very good idea, having a segment at least maybe up to 1 hour a day where you can talk only healing product.
That's right, because coming to Africa will be something different from all the other travel agencies.
That's true.
You will offer something that they don't offer, and you will have healing temples in every African country.
That's good.
Whereby I am good in setting those things up, because it's not just you come to travel, and with the travel you see the sights, and with the sights you come and receive healing. And we all know everybody is stressed out. And that's the purpose of
that's true.
traveling.
We live in the world of stress. You're right. That's a very good idea, especially with that healing, all those natural herbs coming from Africa. It's very well fitting to have that segment into our site to let our viewers and our visitors to link into that information and maybe download the information from you. Do they have to subscribe to be a member of your healing clinic?
Well, my goal is to reach each and everybody, and that is why subscribing is a good thing, to know who and who's not getting the information. With what I have something very unique that we can put up in our healing temples wherever we go. And as a travel agency, you have a double, you get a double portion for your money in traveling to Africa. You know, it's not just going to be fun, but you know you're going to receive something that will heal the mind, the body, the spiritual, and the energy.
That's very powerful. This is Miriam Colbert, sister from South Africa who happened to live in Atlanta, Georgia, live from VM Direct.
Is it, this is hello, what?
Hello.
Is there a website?
I believe we're going to put the link into Coming to Africa website. She's working on it, I believe.
And then we have a second viewer online. If you invite the viewer that is watching, if they have any questions, we're asking where they do this.
Well, at this point,
there's a second viewer watching right now.
Okay, well, at this point, the Coming to Africa is not out yet. What I will suggest you do, paste it into your file and check with us periodically. It could be maybe from now about maybe 1 month more, 1 to 2 months.
Well, they did ask this question. They wanted to know the question regarding the whites in South Africa. They have the money, and having the money, will the blacks ever have the power to run the country?
Black?
Sister Miriam.
Maybe I send that, but based on my observation, because I have visited South Africa several times. I'm not representing South Africa, but I think it's a great country who they all work together at this point, I think. Now, you may ask, being South African, you can tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, being South African, in every country, money speaks, and money speaks loud. And money rules and money controls. And I do see and I do understand that we do have our black brothers and sisters up to their situation, up to that point, where they do have their own money to run the country. So, yes, blacks will be at the point where they will be able to run their own country.
What is the size of the sign of your new flag? Because based on what I understand, it was told rainbow. Tell me a little bit about the new flag of South Africa, if you may.
Well, the South African flag is basically, we are now a rainbow country. We don't just, it's no longer just focusing on being the majority white and in control, but we all are now a rainbow, black, white. You know, the uniqueness of South Africa is the fact that we were, you know, divide and rule. So they had to divide the light skin from the dark skin, and the dark skin from the colored skin. So now the mixed one, like I would say. Yeah. But now, because the flag represents, now we are a rainbow.
Yeah, that's very good. Now that rainbow, and this is just my dream. I'm a very into African unity. I am Senegalese born, but I would love to see United States of Africa. Tell me how these African leaders, what is missing? What would make them United States of Africa, in your own opinion?
To be honest with you, Brother Amadou, and it's sad to say this, it's power hungry. Everyone wants to be a leader. No one wants to reunite and become an African state. We all, and it could be because of our ethnic background. It could be because of the greed to become power, to, you know. But
I think, I mean, this is just my personal opinion. I think if Europe can become united as they are, because I remember when they united themselves, they unite their currency, and once they unite the currency, it was less than $1. It was 40-something cents to $1. I don't believe Europe has a diamond or gold or solar system, but within the 19 months, Euro become the strongest, powerful house. Why not Africa? Because if you see Africa from Senegal to Sudan, they have the sun, they have oil, they have a diamond, they have a gold.
Natural resources.
Why they cannot just unite themselves and have a United States of Africa, combine their resources and their power?
Lack of knowledge. Don't want to.
No, it's not lack. I don't believe that.
The thing is this. What I would say is, I would say, we all know about the resources, but some of us do not have the capabilities.
I think the will.
The will. Or it's not the will as such. It's just who's going to want to be controlling. The control factor.
I have noticed something. I read the copy of the United States Constitution, and I read the copy of the the European Constitution. It's a very, very interesting two documents. Why not? We cannot have a similar constitution because actually OAU in the 1960s did similar. But why isn't it working?
Well, something has just popped up in my spiritual being energy is that I feel that most of our African leaders are being influenced with the different things that really is breaking us apart and not making us be united. And that is why I'm looking at genocide, the genocide thing. Who created genocide? Our people used to live as a unity, as one, but something came in because as a person, I think there's another force that is creating this conflict within ourselves, and that is why most of our African tribes we have tribal, we have guerrilla wars. For what? Because of power and the resources.
We're going to have to work on this. We're going to talk about this a little bit more. At this time, we thank you for watching, and we look forward to getting a little bit more about your commentary. Feel free, send us anything you have in mind, And trust me, be open, we will be. Thanks again.
And happy holidays from Coming to Africa. We're looking forward for you to sign up as soon as our website is up and running. We have something different to offer. Trust us and believe in us.